and sorrow when we lose. The action and reaction, colliding, falling, dropping, despite the odds. I love it because it brings me tears. Tears of victory, tears of joy. The skill that leads to the pass that leads to the shot that leads to the goal that determines the ultimate. Channel Sports, defining the moment of true sport.
Thanks for staying with us. Welcome to News Track on Channels Television. I'm Joker Rogers.
And I'm Charles Eruka. Here are the stories and reports for this hour. The National Assembly has finally moved to take over the functions and duties of the Rivers State House of Assembly, pending the resolution of the crisis and restoration of peace in Rivers State. The Senate agreed with the decision of the House of Representatives to take over the functions of the state legislature during a closed-door meeting.
Well, the senators also asked the Inspector General of Police to urgently redeploy the Rivers State Police Commissioner, Mr. Joseph Mbu.
Meanwhile, the Rivers State Governor is not shifting grounds on his resolve to remain in the People's Democratic Party. Governor Chigbike Amechi, who insists he has no ambition to run for the office of the Vice President in 2015, says his continued membership of the PDP is the only proof of his no ambition, since he doesn't want to stand against the president if he decides to run. He was a guest on BBC's Hard Talk program, where he also spoke about the Nigeria Governors Forum election.
Nobody has a right to begin to bring down a state just because our ambition exists. But first and foremost, it is important to state clearly that everybody should allow 2015 for 2015 is a bit too early. The president is elected to preside over the state as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for which he's been elected. And I support that. And I want everybody to allow Mr. President to preside over the country for the interest of the country. The point that remains is that, you are getting close to transition, and politics is one of the greatest things in Nigeria, and a lot of those whose interests appear to be threatened have come up now to pursue their very private interests. And as governor of Rivers State, my focus is not on that. If the journalists in Britain have an association, it may belong to the association. Would the Prime Minister tell you to run or not to run for any public office? That is the freedom we're looking for in the Nigerian Governors Forum. So I didn't need to have to go to the president to say, Mr. President, I want to run for the office of the chairman of Nigerian Governors Forum. I didn't need to do that, and I didn't do that. And he, in turn, did not call me to say, don't run. I heard you're going to run. So I ran, and I didn't see the president on the ballot. The person I saw on the ballot was Jonah Jang. And to all...
And you say you beat him? You say you won 19 to 16?
I didn't say I beat him. The result was clear.
Okay.
That 19 governors voted for me.
He objected? He objected?
They didn't object to the fact that I won.
The Rivers State Governor Chigbike Amechi. Meanwhile, in recognition of the danger of overheating the polity ahead of the 2015 general elections, President Goodluck Jonathan has pledged to do everything within his power to curb political excesses. The president was responding to concerns by a delegation of the Nigerian Bar Association, led by its president, Mr. Okey Wali, saying that the rising political tension in the country is uncalled for. Briefing State House correspondents after the visit, Mr. Wali explained that the NBA sought an audience with the president over the state of the nation.
We had talked about the issue of the independence and funding for the judiciary. We talked about rule of law because we believe that that is a strong issue in any civilized society. And we talked about the economy. We appreciate the fact that the government is working. We have a lot of reports, but we have our concerns also on the impact on the average Nigerian. We talked about security. We pointedly talked about River State because we expressed our concern that we were very disturbed about what was coming out from River State, and we appealed to His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to please do all that he can lawfully do to ensure that peace returns to Port Harcourt and law and order prevails. And at all times, the principles of rule of law must be adhered to.
From that visit to the presidency to a resolution by the legislature in the longest plenary session of the 7th National Assembly, the House of Representatives has approved local government autonomy. Voting on the report of the ad hoc committee on the review of the Constitution, the lawmakers voted on 85 clauses to amend different sections of the 1999 Constitution. All the clauses enjoyed the support of most of the lawmakers as they all got above the constitutionally required two-third vote of the number of lawmakers. Our correspondent Lanre Lasisi reports.
After the false start of the day before, everything appeared finally set for electronic vote on the review of the Constitution.
Be guided by the wishes and aspirations of our constituents. I have mine here, and I will be guided by it. Please let us all be guided by that.
But 3 hours later, the electronic system could still not be used for voting. The lawmakers then opted for manual voting. In almost examination mode, the lawmakers began the voting process. While some remained on their seats, others sat together as a group, according to their states. An hour later, collating began. It's been 3 hours now since the collation began, and the lawmakers have been here. Some have walked out, walked back in. The Muslim lawmakers have even had their prayers here. They've said their prayers here, and even those fasting have broken their fast in the chamber. It appears there's a determination on the part of the lawmakers to ensure that they wait this out and get the results before they leave plenary today. 5 more hours passed before the results were announced.
Clause 1. All the 339 members participated in the voting. The ayes, 293. The nays, 39. And 7 abstained.
Thank you very much, Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I move that the House reverts to plenary?
The voting on all the clauses that we have had before us this morning, clauses 1 to 87, and from the report of the Committee of the Whole, which was earlier on read out, and the result of the voting, which was earlier on read out by the clerk, none of the clauses failed. All of them have met the mandatory requirement of two-thirds for them to be passed by the House of Representatives.
The lawmakers say more amendments to the 1999 Constitution will still be considered by the House after the return from recess. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Well, more help has come for the 4,000 children affected by lead poisoning in Zamfara State. The federal government has released 479 million naira for their treatment.